There's Gary. Gary's our new driver. So since the last video, Augie did get promoted. He's a lieutenant now. He is on the B shift still, but he is floating out of Engine Company 10. So he fills in where other officers are off. And we actually had him here as our boss last week when our Captain Ray was off. So we're gonna go through Rescue 1, show you some of the stuff we carry, not in great detail, just an overview on this video. And then in future ones, we'll break it down into further description of what we do, how we use this stuff. So we got Chris and Rich. Chris is my partner this week. We're riding Team 2. Rich is on Tank 1. His partner is a squad guy. So Chris is going to be riding, leading Team 2 shortly, actually starting next week. So we've been getting him ready, doing search drills and a lot of other stuff. And we had a squad guy with us this week at work, detailed to us. So he's riding with us. He was searching with Chris, and we'll see if we can get part of that video in. All right, so the first compartment we come to on the officer's side. Go ahead, Chris, yank that out.
Sure.
That's a RIT pack. That comes out at every fire we go to. That goes up on the first two engine company or truck company's front bumper. We take that up along with what we call a RIT bag, which is a rope with a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage setup in it. We'll get into more detail on that type of stuff later. But we also bring that blue bag that Augie talked about in the last video, the airway bag. So that's what the officer, when he hops out at a fire, he grabs that and takes it right up and puts it on that first two company's bumper. So let's move into the next one, Bubba.
I'll do the next
All right, next compartment back. What do we got here, Chris?
Over here we have the grip hoist, and we have some slings for it. That can be used to anchor something or move something, pull it towards us. Extra lights. We have an elevator bag. This is a kit to set up for an elevator rescue. And this is a kit that can stop an elevator from moving up and down for our safety.
Yeah, why is that hand truck right there?
Because it's not light.
Very much. So.
We have an inflatable boat that we can use for rescues and paddles.
That thing's pretty slick. That thing will fill up in about a minute's time with one of our air bottles that we use for our breathing air at fires. You connect the bottle to it, open it up, and that thing's full in about a minute. What's it, about 14 feet long?
Yeah.
Pretty handy. Actually, we got video of that, huh? We'll have to put that out later.
Yeah.
We got a little water rescue drill we did. We'll put that out later on. What else, Chris?
Then we got our torch.
Yep, some of our heat cutting tools. So that torch, what power is that? What's that? What kind of fuel does that run on?
What we have is a petrogen torch, and the fuel is gasoline.
So serious.
Actually, it's settled.
I forgot to mention that we're riding in the spare. This is the Sutphen. So some of these tools are just kind of crammed in because everything we carry is set up and laid out to go in the primary apparatus. But this is generally where we carry most stuff. But it just got switched into, and some stuff isn't exactly how we want it, but we make it work. And some of the tools that we normally carry on the other apparatus are not on here as well. So let's go on the next one.
All right, so these are our tools. We have a similar setup on the other side. These are our cutting and spreading tools. We have Homatro tools here. These are used primarily for car accidents, I would say, more than anything. They are multiple uses, but primarily what we'll use this for is if we have to tool a car open and get a patient out of a bad car wreck. These are the core lines that are used for our Homatro tools, our cutters and spreaders. And you'll notice these are not pre-connected because, as Jamie said, we used to have AMCUS pre-connected on this rig. But we use our portable power unit down here. On the other side, we do have pre-connected tools.
So this is basically an extrication compartment on the officer's side. Depending on how we roll up on an accident, if it's on the highway and we're parked, most times we're going to operate off of this side of the rig for safety reasons. But when we're on a regular street, it kind of depends on how we approach an intersection and which side of the rig we operate on. So we have tools on both sides, and that's just something we have to know if we're looking for a certain tool, which side it's on. Is that one of the hardest things when you come down here, Chris, to learn where all these tools are?
Yeah, it takes a long time.
It does. It's still, and then it's hard to keep up with because things change and get moved. So, but we'll get into further detail on all these later on.
Good with this one?
Yeah.
Here we have our cribbing compartment. We are in our primary apparatus, the Rescue 1 rig. This is our full complement of cribbing on this side of the rig. We had to lighten the rig up when we got our new one. So that's why there's so much empty space here.
Because on the new one, it's a little bit shorter. I think we have one less compartment overall.
Yeah, we have about half of the compartment used for cribbing. See, our wedges are spray painted orange, so you know right away what you're grabbing. And then all the green cribbing on this side, that's why it's green, is because it goes on the officer's side. So all different types of cribbing we use for car accidents, for anything we're trying to stabilize, lift, and keep it from falling after we lift it.
All right, last compartment on this side. This is our saw compartment. All these tools get checked at least once a week, and a lot of these tools get checked daily, and the saws, that's one of them. That's something we'll yank them out and fire them up to make sure they're ready to go.
Okay, so I'll kind of walk you through the saw compartment and the saws that we carry. Up top we have 2 bullet chainsaws, and a steel chainsaw. A lot of times at maybe some commercial fires or even residential fires, we'll be tasked by a chief to take down some limbs or trees so they can get water on the fire, where we would use the chainsaw. Up top, we have a circular Milwaukee metal cutting saw. Works great.
That thing's amazing.
Yeah. And I would say out of all the saws, we probably use these ones the most for forcible entry. We have 3 cutter's edge rotary saws. As you can see, we have 1 mounted in the standard position and then 2 are mounted in the outboard position. So what we do on our saws is we will switch the blade from the inside of the saw to the outside. Reason being is if we have to cut floor bolts or anything mainly in a commercial property, we can get right down to the ground here and get under the door. Or if we have to cut bolts or locks on the side of a door, we can get right snug to the door, where if it was on the inside position, you wouldn't be able to.
Oh, we're going on a flare.
Entry 17, 10, 9, fire report, squad rescue, guard 4, 442, bird down.
Yeah.
Entry 13, 10, 9, fire report, squad rescue, guard 4, possible kitchen fire.
We're making a little video on the exterior compartments of Rescue 1, Captain.
Okay, good.
Where'd we leave off, Dick?
I think we were discussing and kind of wrapped up why we have two of our rotary saws mounted in the outboard position, mainly for forcible entry. The only thing we didn't touch on here is our pickets. We have a picket plate here with some crowbars, some pry bars, and this is mainly used for if maybe we go on a car accident where we have to stabilize the vehicle on a hill. There's many examples, but that's one that we could talk about. We would set these pickets up and use that as an anchor to stabilize the car from slipping down toward the road or the highway or whatever.
Nice. Let's go hit the other side, and I think we're going to do the interior compartments on another video. Chris knows this compartment inside and out now because he's getting ready to lead Team 2, and this is a big Team 2 compartment because when you're on Team 2 at car accidents, you're responsible for vehicle stabilization. So that's a lot of what's in here.
Rescue, Super Lady.
Okay, now we're going on a car accident.
It's going to be on West Mountain Connection just after the Thompson Road on ramp.
Oh, okay, we're back from the car accident.
We got an ASCAR jack, lift a car. We got some chains and clusters. We have our rescue jacks for stabilizing, can also be used to lift. Then we have various types of backboards and Stokes baskets in here.
Yep, those rescue jacks, we use them when there's a car up on its side or rolled over. Any kind of precarious situation, we use them to stabilize it, to keep it from going somewhere as we don't. Chains for stabilizing and lifting, moving, you name it. What else is in there? We got come along, chain binders, handles for the rescue jacks.
Come along.
This is our air compartment. These are all our air tools, airbag controllers, dead man controllers, and our airbags. This is our rig air compressor, so we can run our air tools off of that if we need to use a tool maybe where there's no electricity. Now we have a good complement of battery tools, but this is another option if we're somewhere without power. These are our controllers right here for the airbags, and they're primarily used for lifting. They can be used for machinery rescue too if we have to spread apart some sort of machine for an entrapment, but they're used primarily to lift heavy objects off of maybe someone who is entrapped.
And then what else?
We have our whizzer tool, our pack hammer, and our Ajax tool.
Yep. Just some other air tools for cutting through metal, and blasting up concrete, different things like that. So moving on. This compartment's going to be duplication of the other side. Yep, more cribbing. Again, now this is a mirror image of the other side as far as being extrication tools.
Almost, yeah.
This is when we're in the Sutphin, we carry the MKIS tools pre-connected. We have the hose reels on both sides, and we use the MKIS tools on this apparatus. And then down here, these are E-tools. They are battery-powered extrication tools. And these are the spreaders, cutters, and we're not going to say jaws of life. These are tools that get checked daily. We don't cut anything with them necessarily every day, but they get ran and made sure that they're used. The onboard generator, the MKIS pump, the onboard pump for that. Those things get checked out at every shift. So, and some miscellaneous tools for stabilization and window removal. This thing that we call a church board, that's just a piece of plastic we use to put between a patient and the door as we're cutting somebody out of a vehicle. It's just a little barrier so that protects people from flying metal, debris, and things like that. And if we see while we're extricating somebody, we see any part of the car that we're moving, that we're destroying to get to them, starting to impinge on that church board, we know that we're entering the patient zone, and that's our barrier that we use for that. So, but moving on, this is kind of bare bones right now. Like I say, we're set up to ride in the other apparatus, and with that being just gone out of service this week, we're still getting things set up on here. We have to make a new inventory for this apparatus when we're in this as a spare, and we're going to be in this for a while, it sounds like. So we kind of relate this as being the driver's compartment. You want to go through it, Chris?
Sure.
All right.
Driver keeps some of his turnout gear in here. We also have generator with a light. We got our man and machine kit, any kind of entrapment. We have a ton of tools in there. Then we have various toolboxes with wrenches, Allen keys, that kind of thing.
That let's talk just a little bit more about this.
Sure.
Just to explain how these all snap together on top and can be rolled into a place, yep. An industrial facility or a playground, yep. Whatever.
These are different boxes and they snap in together. You can break them apart or you can add other ones on top of it. You got a nice handle on the back side, and this is on wheels. Make it easily mobile so you're not killing yourself hauling it around.
And they're basically mechanics tools and a lot of custom things that we carry for what we call, that's our man in the machine kit. If we have any kind of entrapment, entanglement, or something as simple as a kid stuck in a swing. People get stuck in all sorts of different weird positions, and it's our responsibility to get them out. So that's all the different tools that we carry for that. And I'm talking little rotary cutters, tin snips, shielding devices, lubrication materials. That's just to name a couple of the things that are in there. Plus all the general mechanics tools for taking equipment apart. People get stuck. We've had people with limbs stuck in escalators and different things like that, and you have to just simply take the equipment or the device apart to free somebody up. So
then we have some stuff at a fire scene the driver's going to bring up, put on the bumper, breathing bag, and then we got our RIT system, RIT rope,
which we'll get into later. Again, more tools up there, more mechanics types tools, LED battery powered light, search rope. The search rope, we'll probably do a little video on that when we do one on some of how we search. We carry a large area search rope though. If we're entering a large building, a warehouse type facility, cold storage, a place with long, big, wide hallways, anything, you name it, that's not your ordinary place that we're gonna crawl through, but yet it's smoked up and we can't see, we take that search rope. That's like our tether that's leaving breadcrumbs behind for us to follow that back out. That's a whole different operation. It's not something we do often, but it's something we train on and have to know. And for those large area fires, like the Marcellus casket fire, we've used it there. We've used it on a few others. And it is a nice feeling having that tether back to a safe spot when you're in a big smoke-filled place that you're hundreds of feet into. And then the driver's tank right there. So when he gets out, he gets dressed and he throws his tank on his back, grabs his tool, and the other tools that he carries as well. And like I said, we'll get into the inside of the Rescue 1 in a later video. There's just too much to put on one video. All we did was an overview on this stuff, so we'll get into that later and more in depth, maybe a little bit more on how the teams work. So, you guys got anything you want to mention or add?
No, I mean, we're gonna do our daily tool check after dinner tonight, and ironically we have saws, so we're gonna fire up all the saws and kind of see how they work and how they get started and fired up for our weekly tool check.
Yeah, man. Cool, thanks guys. Gary's making his dinner. After dinner we'll get them saws out and fire them up, and then do whatever comes next. Chris is backing it in. Don't tell Gary, he'll get mad. That green machine right there, that was our spare that we got for a while. When that something got in an accident, it was out of service for quite a while. Oh, some guy walking by. Oh. And so the city bought that for us to use. And now the idea is, well, that's our spare if the something goes out of service. And then we're hopeful to set that up with some extra cribbing, a lot of other tools that we could use on a regular basis, but we don't have room to carry. And the kind of thing that if we hear we're going to a bad accident up on the highway or something, maybe we take that with us for extra equipment, that type of thing. We call it the green machine. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching. And the next one we'll get into inside compartments probably. Just a quick overview of what we have on the outside on our spare. Like I said, there's a lot we don't have on, but it's a start. We'll get into a lot of the other tools more in depth and show you more about them later. For now though, just an overview, and thanks for watching. So hit that subscribe button down below and leave us a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.